research today from the United States that says after a person dies, their brain is active for a period of time, and they may in fact hear the doctor proclaim their own death, because I think doctors have to proclaim death at time of death and everything. It comes from a British researcher who's interviewed people who've experienced cardiac arrest and gave descriptions of it. If you've been in such a situation where you've had a heart attack, your heart stopped, could you hear what was going on around you? 96900 693 13 13 32. The struggle I have here is how on earth can you say that somebody's brain keeps working for some time after death and they hear themselves being pronounced dead, because if they die, they're not going to tell you. And if they're brought back, then were they dead? I mean, it just seems a problem of definition, but then I am no doctor. On the line, one of Australia's leading scientists in the area with Neuroscience Research Australia, Professor George Paxinos. Good morning.
Hi, Neil.
Now, you actually mapped the brain, did you? That's what you're well known for?
That's the only thing I do.
That's the only thing you do? That's not a bad start. What do you think about... It is correct, isn't it? The brain can live for some minutes without oxygen.
Scientists have been taking, especially in the mouse brain or parts of it, slices of it, and study the still alive neurons for a few minutes. So it is possible, the mouse, you've taken the brain out and you sectioned it, and some of the sections you can actually study the cells still alive for a few minutes. But back onto the definition of what is the problem you have with the logic of it, I can't see how it is possible to say that the brain can survive death, because death is defined as the cessation of the activity of the brain. Of course, you can have a blip, or rather a trough, that the brain can slow down for, or virtually lose all activity and then regain it. That's why they have to wait for half an hour to see that indeed there's no activity of the brain before they pronounce somebody as dead. So it's a logical problem that presents itself if you claim that the brain can survive death.
So what if, if your heart stops, that's not death, that's sort of one step towards it, isn't it?
Oh, that doesn't have to be anything. You can then produce some pumping action through another means and have the person recover. And besides, it won't be immediate death of the brain after cessation of the supply of the blood. It will take some seconds or minutes. So you are still the same person if your heart disappears. But you're not the same person if the brain disappears, and you just don't exist.
So we would have examples, obviously, of people whose heart has stopped, but they have been revived. And it's at times I've heard of people who come back from that sort of incident without significant brain damage. Do we know how long the brain can survive without oxygen?
Well, you'll obtain some brain, you'll get some brain damage, and the longer it is without oxygen, the greater the damage. I don't know for humans, only for rats I know that we can't wait minutes, otherwise all cells will die. And now those, as it concerns those experiences that they've reported, if you are alluding to the near-death experience, are you referring to that as well? Because I can comment on that.
Yeah.
I had an anesthetist friend who told me that he just about lost the patient, but he managed to bring him back. And when the patient came back, he said, I know what it is out there. I saw it. It was 1,000 red Ferraris.
Sounds all right to me. So, do you believe in those near-death experiences? No, that's the wrong question. Is there scientific evidence on any of those near-death experiences?
Look, the brain can hallucinate at any time. But now to say that somehow your spirit was floating above you, it is best explained as that is the least costly philosophical preposition is that the person was hallucinating. We have dreams that were found in different places, and it's basically explained like that. Certainly, I have not seen an article in Science or Nature, the preeminent journals in science, describing such things. These extraordinary claims require extraordinarily strong evidence, and this has not been presented. The best approach to it is to relegate them to where they have been for the last nearly 100 years. In the 1930s, psychology lost its soul, lost those metaphysical ghosts, and now it just studies behavior, stimulus, response without reference to ghostly substances in the body.
Thank you for speaking to us. What would you like to see there? 1,000 red Ferraris or Maseratis? What would you like?
I would rather people disabuse themselves of the notion that they are metaphysical things of this sort and stop killing each other to save their own souls. As you know, there's more harm done today in the name of religion and gods than in the name of the devil.
Very well said. Thank you so much for your time, Professor George Paxinos from New South Wales University.